about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics.
Harambe YouTube, it is your boy Charles, and today I want to talk about a comic book that I may have been selling short. It is from Image Comics. It is called Gehenna, Naked Aggression. One thing I noticed right off from the first issue is that when you read the author's section in the back where it talks about the creation of the book, these guys had no ideation about what they were creating. They were creating something raunchy, um, vulgar, adult oriented, and action packed, unapologetically. And I love that because I am a child of the 80s, born in 1978. So I came up in the time of, Rambo sequels. Not the first one. The first one was great, but the sequels, they seem to be a lot more big explosions. The Schwarzenegger movies, all of these different action movies, and we can't forget the B movies done by Cynthia Rothrock, Don the Dragon, and Billy Blanks, and so many others. And so this kind of action is right up my alley. But they do a couple of things very interesting. One is, even though this is issue number 3, it covers parts 7 through 9. And so they're not letting the constraints of issue number make them fill out a certain issue or tell a story longer than needs to be told. If parts 7 through 9 fits into one issue, that's what you're going to get. We got parts 1 through 6 in the first 2 issues. And so I like that it doesn't bog down the issue, and it makes it move very fast, despite being a rather, thick book as far as pages goes. It moves very, very fast for that reason. And I want to talk about just one part of this. It is part 7, Good Samaritan. And it's the beginning of her battle, Gehenna. It's the beginning of her battle against a superhero that calls himself the Public Defender. And they actually, in the clever ways, cover some topics including chauvinism and mansplaining and social constructs. And what I mean by that is during the fight, it starts off with, and also just this whole book has brilliant art that really captures the action from page 1 to the very end. You feel the movement, you feel the violence, and you see the results on the page. And so the artist, who is the artist here, says the artist is Maurizio Rosenweig. They did a damn great job with the art in this book. But when we get to the title page, part 7, Good Samaritan, you see the top. We have two panels that covers both pages, top to bottom, and in this big top piece, you see her firing a devastating shot to the let's say lower extremities of the Public Defender, this superhero. And you cut to the next page, and he says, "The balls, come on, show some decorum." And then, not what she says, but what she thinks in her head is, heroes don't get it. They think there's rules. They can't register that for rules to work, everyone has to follow them. And in my experience, when push comes to shove, nobody does. And so it talks about the social construct of, fighting fair and fair play and people, and also unrealistic expectations. So I thought, for something that is unapologetically crass and action-packed, there's a little message there. And in the next panel, we go to their fighting, and while she is absolutely devastating the Public Defender, he says, "Stop trying to kill me. Don't make things worse for yourself, God damn it." And she replies in her mind, she says, "These types always package their need for control as something else. Concern, moral outrage, whatever." And so again, it's talking about that mansplaining, that control mechanism of I'm doing this for your own good, don't make me hurt you mentality. And it goes on also to discuss the hubris of someone calling themselves a superhero. And it takes the genre of superheroes and turns it on its head, and you get to see from the perspective of our main character, Gehenna, who is morally ambiguous. She is I don't know if you call her, I would say an underworld bounty hunter. And so she falls into a, life of gray areas, not claiming to be morally right or evil, but, she sees somebody who places himself in this high place of morality is something that's ridiculous. And you get to see, that maybe superheroes aren't worth the admiration that they're given. And so I thought that was snuck into this violent, crass, vulgar, and adult story. It is some really relevant stuff, along with even more action, explosion crashes, and brilliant fight scenes, violent fight scenes. I don't want to go too much more into it because, like I always say, these reviews, they are to give you a preview of something I think you might dig, give you a little bit, but I don't want to ruin the whole book for you because I love comics for the experiences of getting it in my hands, opening it up, and taking in the words and the pictures myself. And so I don't want to take you away from that. I don't want to rob you of that experience. But I do want to encourage you to check out Gehenna, Naked Aggression from Image Comics. We're on issue number 4 right now. If I have something more that stands out in number 4 that really speaks to me, I may do a review on that. If you want a review on that, let me know in the comments. But check it out. Well worth your read. Well worth your $4. And I will see you next time. Until then, keep reading them books. I'm out.